Hey guys, Tim here. I'm going to show you how to really improve your chances of hunting during deer season. So I'm out here right now, 2 weeks before deer season, and I'm at an optimal time where I'm the least likely to run into any deer. And that's what I want. I'm doing that on purpose. So the first step that I'm going to do is, if you look at this logging road right here, so I'm going to leave it a mess like this, overgrown. And what I'll do just before season is I'll make it look like there's a campfire with a bunch of spent 7 mag shells and 30-06 shells and 9mm shells and around there, and make it look like some rednecks came up here and just ruined the hunting for just before opening day. And all the spent shells will be fresh. Of course, I'm not going to shoot up here. I'm just going to dump the shells. Then any chipmunks or squirrels that try to give me away before I come up to my location, I'm going to clear them out. I'm going to shoot them or trap them and use them for bait for my traps. Then I'm going to come up the main road here, and this is going to be my hunting trail. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got a machete, but I'm not going to cut here. I'm going to make it look like there's nothing going on here, and I've already demoralized any competition that's coming up here. So as going through all this crap, he's thinking, man, why am I wasting my time doing this? So I'm already getting to him. And by the time he gets up here, I don't want him to notice this. All right. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of poison oak out of the way that I have to cut to not get into the poison oak. And then I'll catch up with you once I get inside here. Okay, so I've cut his little thorn bushes and his little poison oak as I had to, because all of that dissuades people from coming in. And I've left it thick here at the beginning, and I've covered any evidence that there might be any kind of a game trail here, which there is. There's a little bit of older sign here, and I'm going to come through with a rake and I'm going to cover this all up. All right, so what I've done is I've come through, I've hidden this pretty well to maximize my use back here and my resources. Trapping season is starting right now, so I'm going to set my traps, and my camera's back here way out of sight because people screw with that stuff. I've never had mine taken because I take the time to hide them really well. So when I come through here to deer hunt, I get to check my traps here too. So the way this is going to work is, there's a lot of predator traffic. I'm down below all the deer and elk traffic. I'm out of sight. I'm out of smell. I'm going to take a rake. I'm going to clear all these leaves out so that I can move silently and unseen from clear cut to clear cut. And I've got to get my fat butt into shape. Alright guys, I'm cutting all this underbrush out right now, because what I want to do is, when season starts in a couple weeks, I want to approach this clear cut silently and without anything knowing I'm coming. So you got to take these extra steps way before season. So I did it, cut my access up here. Now all the game trails and sign, it's right up toward the middle and the top there. And that's where I'm not going to go, because I don't want any scent, any smell, or them to even know that I'm going to be in here. So this is all I need right here. I'm gonna creep up this trail. This is just one of many access points, clear cuts, that I'm going to be looking at. Alright guys, here's the next stage of the plan. So I look at the map and I know that there's old logging roads here that are abandoned. To my knowledge, I'm the only one accessing these roads. I had to carve my way through the woods just to get up to them. So these are what I'm going to be using. They're quick and they're handy. Hopefully nobody knows about them, and for God's sakes, if you guys have a plan like this and you have a place like this, do not tell anybody except for the one person that's your partner that you hunt with, that you trust. or we've all been there, to where you had some guy you trusted, and then you see that guy and his whole entire extended family and his block party up here, like 20 people, and ruining everything. We've all had that happen. So for God's sakes, don't tell anybody about your spot. Okay guys, so this is what I've got. I've got the dense forest, and it meets with the clear cut here. And me and Goofball here, we're gonna sit here and scan and watch for traffic. Oh, that was cool. And here's some of those squirrels I told you about that give away your position. So I might have Goofball keep him scared, and then I might pick him off at the 22, get him out of here, because he will mess up my hunt in 2 weeks. Just wanted to go over some gear. I have my 357 because I am in cougar country. I've got a comfortable pack. I've got this vest that cushions all my straps. I've got a machete right there, and now I'll get into some of my other gear. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you guys about the politics of being in a place like this. So I've worked hard to secure this, and every once in a while you'll run into another guy who's worked as hard as you are, but maybe he doesn't share your moral values. And I've had guys like that tell me, you're on private property, you need to get out of here. So know ahead of time, 100%. Be able to prove it on a map. Say, hey man, no way. This is public property. I am where I should be. And say, hey, I'll work out a deal with you, you know, to where if we see 2 bucks, we can both bring them down at the same time, or we can split it. So anyhow, you know, just you know, I've been in positions like that, and most guys are pretty cool. Most guys will work stuff out with you. Something like this is pretty promising, Goofballs. Goofball, come on. Something like this is pretty promising here. I mean, it looks older than it is because we just had a lot of rain here. This is a fresh sign. I can still smell urine. So so this is one of many things you want to look for right here. You know, guys, another thing me and Goofball here, we want to stress is always please pick up your trash. I mean, when guys come out here and they leave garbage all over the place, this is what gets public places closed down. So, you know, I use my trash sometimes to dissuade people from coming up the trail, but I pick it up at the end. So, you know, any garbage or anything that you leave around, just make sure you get it out. Take it out with you, or burn it up in your campsite or something. Well, I've got a neighbor. I call him Old Bob. He's a pretty cool old guy. And not Bob I do the show with. Old Bob, to quote him, the guy looks and sounds exactly like Hank Hill. So to quote him at a time like this, oh, well, this looks like the work of the good Lord's hand. Ha 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 ha. So the way to do this, if you want to set up for hunting, is you want your highest spot, and I've got a lot of underbrush up there. If I pick down here, I run the risk of being spotted. But if I shoot from up top, it'll give me a better vantage point and better cover. I'm going to be kicking through a lot of thorn bushes, a lot of underbrush, and just all kinds of nasty stuff, rocks and unlevel ground. And so I've got comfortable insoles, and I'm out here testing these to make sure that they're not going to let me down during season. So always test your gear ahead of time. Optimal spot to be in. There's a water source down there, little pond, and it's semi-clear. I can take a shot. There's grass. The deer are going to be attracted to it. I'm up high. I'm above them, shooting down. This is pretty perfect. And here's something else, guys, is never hurry. You know, just stroll. Take your time and stroll. The more noise you make, the more you're going to give yourself away. I'm walking on pine needles right here. I'm just getting everything ready for season. I'm walking quiet, taking my time. I'm not going to miss anything. If a deer comes out of nowhere, I've got a good chance of getting the jump on them, especially with what I'm coming up on something like that. I want to come in quiet, you know. I'm not in a hurry. Alright guys, so you might be thinking all the homework's done, right? So I'm going to be wearing a baseball cap out here because this is going to keep a lot of the sunlight out of my eyes, especially when I'm looking through a scope. I want a nice clear shot without any interference. So here's some of my gear. I've got my binoculars, my whole pack set up for the day. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be nice and comfortable here. I've got my lunch and everything. So now I'll show you where I'm gonna be shooting from. Okay, now the work has actually only begun, okay? Because just kind of back on the other side of that clear cut over there is where I'm going to be keeping my game cart, and I'm going to be setting up camp. And I have to know what my distances are because I'll be shooting a 243, and I've got to have a rangefinder. I've got to know where my bullet's going to drop because I've got a powerful scope. And what if I see a deer in the trees back there in the dark timber? So I've got to be able to pick them from that distance. And so I've got to know my range and my bullet drop, and if this is the area I'm going to be covering. All right, so I'm going to sign off. Me and Goofball here, we're gonna just scan this area. And anyway, I hope this helped. This is kind of how I set up. The biggest part is competition. Keep as much competition out of the equation as you possibly can, and because that's going to be your biggest problem. There's just so many people and so few spots left in the Pacific Northwest these days that you won't have this kind of problem in Montana or Wyoming or some of those other Midwestern area states. But out here in California, Washington, Oregon, and even Idaho, you're going to run into large populations of people, and it's just going to be a little bit of a problem, but some of these can be overcome. So anyway, keep your tips up, and we'll catch you next time. You goofy goober, huh? You goofball? Yeah, you are. You're a goofball. Guys, I've got a natural spring coming right out of the ground here. I'm going to put my tap in, and I'll show you how I collect water from here. All right, and it's that easy. I like easy. Now I have my water here for a season, and it's just about as clean the water as you can get right out of the side of the rock. And the outside of this container just has some different kind of cold to it. It's just all natural. It's really neat to be able to do this. And as the water boy says, that's some high quality H2O. Another thing too, guys, as you'll see, there's another tap here. Don't use somebody else's tap. Make sure you bring your own, because they just leave it in here and it accumulates all kinds of bacteria and giardia, all different kinds of problems. There's moss growing in the inside. It's really gross. So bring your own, sterilize it, keep it clean, bleach it. Just make sure you bring your own tap.